junk drawer, looking for a pen, and I find a scrap of paper from God knows where or when. It's a grocery list of things we need to see you after work. A little jagged, I love you, with a messy ink stained quirk. The air in here is heavy, like a book that's never read, full of all the paragraphs we should have used instead. I'm tripping over sentences I saved for the right time. Now they're just a pile of rust, a rhythm without rhyme. The closet's halfway empty, but the echoes are still full of the wait a minute, darling, and the sorry and the pull. I got a suitcase full of talk that never made it out, wrapped in layers of my pride and the paper thinness of doubt. And they're just leftover words, scattered on the floor like the dust that's gathered under the shadow of the door. The I'm sorries that were whispered when I thought you were asleep. The promises I made myself that I was meant to keep. I'm drowning in the wreckage of the things I didn't say, watching all our afterwhiles just drift and fade away. It's a library of silence, and it's more than I deserve. Just a heart full of leftover words. I see you at the traffic light, a car length to the left. I'm looking for the syllable to bridge this sudden theft, but my tongue is a lead weight, and the windows rolled up tight, and the please don't go is screaming in the middle of the light. I've got a dictionary of dreams we never got to start, stuffed into the pockets of a broken, heavy heart. A happy birthday waiting, or where'd we lose the spark? All just useless neon signs flickering in the dark. If I could pack them in a box and mail them to your past, maybe then I'd find a way to make the quiet last. But you can't feed a hungry ghost with phrases in a jar, and words don't have the power to travel quite this far. Promises I made myself that I was meant to keep. I'm drowning in the wreckage of the things I didn't say, watching all our afterwhiles just drift and fade away. It's a library of silence, and it's more than I deserve. Just a heart full of leftover words. Wait, I'm here. I thought we had another year. They're falling from my mouth like rain into the drain, into the drain. Just scraps, just ghosts, the ones that hurt the most. Leftover words. we said my goodbyes on the night you packed your bags. I watched the taillights vanish like 1,000 white flags. I did the heavy lifting, I did the morning on the floor. I thought I'd pay the ransom at the handle of the door, but then I saw you at the station, or I smelled you in the rain, and the ghost of us came rushing back to occupy the pain. Now I'm standing in the wreckage of a house I thought I built, while the fresh cut of the over bleeds away the old growth guilt. The first time was a fever, a sudden blinding flash. The second time is different, it's the cooling of the ash. I'm grieving for the person that I lost a year ago, and the one that's standing here today with nowhere left to go. And it's the double edge of sorrow, it's the echo in the hall. It's the second time I'm watching the same empire fall. I thought I'd reach the bottom, I thought I'd survive the fall, but the gravity of never is the hardest part of all. Once for the reality and once for the dreamer, slow and steady tearing at a well-worn tattered seam. It's a cruel kind of magic, repeat of the price. Yeah, losing you once was enough, but I'm losing you twice. I'm deleting all the photos I'd already tucked away, like I'm burying the body on a second funeral day. It's the almost and the could have been that's harder to let go than the flesh and bone of someone that I used to really know. I'm saying goodbye to the stranger who looks just like my best friend, navigating the shoreline where the memories have to end. It's a haunting in the daylight, it's a shadow on the sun, doing all the work again that I thought was already done. One for the bridge we burned, and one for the smoke, one for the promise, and one for the joke. I'm tired of the morning, I'm tired of the black, I'm tired of the way you keep not coming back. But I'm losing you twice. Goodbye to the ghost, goodbye to the man, catching the dust again as fast as I can. First it was a heart, now it's the mind, leaving the last of the us behind. Twice the twice the blue, losing you, losing you twice. is hanging by a rusted thread above the hollow pillows of this unmade bed. I'm humming melodies we used to know, but the notes are brittle and the tempo slow. I try to sing the words that made you stay, but they taste like ashes and they drift away. The rocking chair is rhythmic like a heartbeat's ghost in the house where I miss you the most. Close your eyes even though you're not here. The silence is the only thing I have to fear. It's a song for the shadows, a hymn for the blue, a midnight prayer that I'm sending to you. And it's a loveless lullaby, a loveless lullaby. Sleep tight beneath the dark and empty sky. There's no happily ever at the end of the page, just a bird with no song in a silver cage. I'm singing to the space where your head used to rest, with a heavy stone sitting inside of my chest. Go to sleep, my darling, don't you ask me why. This is just a loveless lullaby. Dust is dancing in the hallway light, like tiny stars lost in a permanent night. I used to soothe your demons with a gentle kiss. Now I'm wondering how it came to this. The nursery of our dreams is boarded up and cold, and the stories that we started will never be told. I'm cradling the memory of the way we were, but the lines of your face are starting to blush. Now, baby, don't say a word. The prettiest things are the ones never heard, like the I'll never leave and the I'll always care. They're just echoes dissolving in the freezing air. It's a loveless lullaby, a loveless lullaby. Sleep tight beneath the dark and empty sky. There's no happily ever at the end of the page, just a bird with no song in a silver cage. I'm singing to the space where your head used to rest, with a heavy stone sitting inside of my chest. Go to sleep, my darling, don't you ask me why. This is just a loveless lullaby. Rockabye heart on the edge of the break. When the barn snaps, the spirit will ache, and down will come love, and down will come us into the quiet, into the dust. Just a loveless lullaby. Good night. I'm sitting on the edge of bed we used to share, staring at the laundry pile that's scattered everywhere. I found a thick gray wool one, the kind you'd always wear when the morning frost was biting and the winter stripped us bare. But his partner isn't hiding in the sheets up by the wall. It probably left with your suitcases out in the front hall. And I'm holding on to cotton like it's something I can save, while I'm drowning in the stillness of this quiet, empty cave. We were a pair of opposites, it's a tangle of the two. A little bit of my mess and a little bit of you, but now the drawer is lopsided, the symmetry is gone, and I'm struggling to find a way to put my armor on. 'Cause we're just mismatched socks in a cold and lonely room. One is built for sunshine, one is woven for the gloom. I'm looking for the pattern, for the thread that used to bind, but I'm just a lonely leftover that you left behind. Yeah, you can try to wear them, you can try to make them fit, but the color's off a little and the heart is slowly quit. It's a lonesome kind of living, a broken kind of us, just two mismatched socks turning back to dust. I remember how we laughed about the things that didn't match. Your love for the city and my little garden patch. We thought the friction kept us warm, thought the contrast was a gift, but we didn't see the fabric start to pull and start to drift. Now I've got a drawer of singles, of shadows and of ghosts, the ones that keep the memories of what I miss the most. I'm wearing one of mine and one of yours just to feel close, but it only makes the distance feel more bitter and verbose. You can't fix a hole by just wishing it away, and you can't make a pair out of gold. And please stay, the elastic's all gone and the wool is getting thin, and I don't know where the loneliness ends and I begin. Yeah, we're just mismatched socks in a cold and lonely room. One is built for sunshine, one is woven for the gloom. I'm looking for the pattern, for the thread that used to bind, but I'm just a lonely leftover that you left behind. Yeah, you can try to wear them, you can try to make them fit, but the color's off a little and the heart is slowly quit. It's a lonesome kind of living, a broken kind of us, just two mismatched socks turning back to dust. Yeah, ooh, yeah. One is navy blue, the other's charcoal gray. Just like the way you walked away, I'll keep it in the basket, I'll keep it in the dark, waiting for a twin that lost its spark. Mismatch, so mismatch, just a pair that couldn't last. So mismatch. I'm grounded at the terminal of everything we say, tracing silver vapor trails inside my hollow head. The radar's picking up the ghosts of flights we never took. The maps are all rewritten in a language I can't look. I used to soar on every word that fell from off your lips. Now I'm just a wreckage side of broken wings and trips. I've had to lock the hanger, I've had to dim the lights to stop the sky from screaming through these lonely endless nights. The air is thick with phonies and the altitude is wrong. I'm humming all the static where we used to have a song. I'm pulling back the throttle, I'm digging in my my heels, trying to forget how the weight of gravity feels. Because my mind is a no-fly zone since you went away. There's a ceiling on my dreaming and the sky is always gray. Close the inner airspace to the memory of your face. There's no room for your shadow in this cold and empty space. If you try to cross the border, if you try to drift back in, I'll shoot down every maybe before it can begin. It's a lonely kind of safety, standing on the stone, but my mind is a no-fly zone. Postcards on the counter are like warnings from the past, proof that even bluebird skies were never meant to last. I see the birds in formation heading for the south, and I taste the bitter iron of the silence in my mouth. I can't look at the clouds cause they look like unmade beds. I can't look at the horizon without losing both my heads. So I stay beneath the cover of the rafters in the rain, avoiding any height that might lead back to the pain. They say the view is better from 30,000 feet, but all I see is the wreckage where the earth and sorrow meet. I'd rather stay down in the dirt, I'd rather stay alone than risk another crash into the things that I have known. Yeah, my mind is a no-fly zone since you went away. There's a ceiling on the dreaming and the sky is always gray. I've closed the inner airspace to the memory of your face. There's no room for your shadow in this cold and empty space. If you try to cross the border, if you try to drift back in, I'll shoot down every maybe before it can begin. It's a lonely kind of safety, standing on the stone, but my mind is a no-fly zone. Keep your distance, stay above the clouds. I can't handle the noise of the memory being loud. The runway is cracked, the radio is dead. I'm staying on the ground inside my head. No-fly zone, no-fly zone. Just leave the sky alone. I used to close my eyes just to see your face, to find a little bit of mercy in a quiet place. The pillow was a portal to a world of gold, to a story of a future that we get to unfold. But the locks have been changed on the gates of sleep, and the promises I made are getting harder to keep. Now I'm terrified of the sun going down in this lonely bed, in this empty town. I'm fighting the heavy, I'm fighting the dark, waiting for a fire, but I'm choking on a spark. The Sandman is a stranger with a knife in his hand, carving out the borders of a broken land. Now there's no more dreams, only nightmares of you, a haunting in the black, a bruised kind of blue. I'm running down hallways that led to a door where you're saying goodbye, and I don't love you no more. Oh, oh, without you I'm steady and still, but at midnight I'm a victim to a memory's will. I see you in the shadows, I see you in the glass, watching all the versions of our happiness pass. But the colors are twisted and the voices are distorted, like a transmission of a love that's been aborted. I'm trapped in a loop of the night that you left, a permanent prisoner to this emotional theft. I'm drinking the coffee, I'm staying awake, afraid of the shapes that my subconscious can make. Because sleep isn't rest, it's a theater of pain, where I have to watch you break me over and over again. Climbing the white of the wall, a cold sweat, a sharp regret. The sun hasn't started to come for me yet. No more dreams, only nightmares, only nightmares, truly deep. I'm staring at the mirror, but the glass is already cracked. There's no use in hiding what the emptiness has trapped. I've cried until the salt has burned a trail into my skin, and I've searched for every exit from the state that we are in. The vase on the table is a pile of porcelain dust. The iron in our always has surrendered to the rust. You can't tear a hole in a heart that's hollowed out. There's no room for fear when you're living in the doubt. So go ahead and say it, go ahead and leave. I've run out of the spirit to roll up another sleeve. The storm has done its damage, the sky is turning gray, and the best of me was buried on a different kind of day. 'Cause there's nothing left to break, nothing left to bleed. I've given you the harvest, now I'm just a withered seed. You can't shatter a spirit that's already on the floor. You can't find a heartbeat when it doesn't beat no more. I'm a house without the windows, a ship without a sail, a long forgotten story where the heroes always fail. Take the pieces if you want them, for your own sake. But darling, look around, there's nothing left to break. I felt the final snap about 100 nights ago, when I was begging for a reason reason that you never even show. Now the silence is a comfort and the cold is like a friend. It's the only thing that's honest at the bitter, jagged end. I don't flinch when you're shouting, I don't ache when you go. I've reached the very bottom where the heavy waters flow. A mountain can't fall twice and a fire can't return when there isn't any fuel left for the memory to burn. It's a strange kind of freedom, this wreckage in the dark, to be the only ghost left in a cold and empty park. You can't hurt a shadow, you can't bruise the night. I'm finally out of reach, I'm finally out of light, yeah. Already on the floor. You can't find a heartbeat when it doesn't beat no more. I'm a house without the windows, a ship without a sail, a long forgotten story where the heroes always fail. Take the pieces if you want them for your own sake, but darling, look around, there's nothing left to break. The walls are already down, the king has lost his crown, the tears have all gone dry. I'm just a shell, I'm doing well underneath this empty sky. Nothing left to break. The streetlights flicker in a rhythm of their own. In the kitchen made of shadows, I am sitting all alone. The coffee's gone to silver, the steam has turned to mist, tracing all the ghosts of every time that we were kissed. I hear your floorboard creak just a dozen feet away. A separate world, a different life in a house of quiet gray. We're sharing the same ceiling, we're breathing the same air, but the distance in the hallway is more than I can bear. Two ghosts in the corridor, two hearts in the dark, too tired to be angry, too cold to find a spark. We're navigating silence like a map we can't unroll, losing every piece of what used to be a soul. And we're just passing ships at 4 a.m., waiting for the fog to swallow us again. No signal on the water, no light upon the mast, just the heavy hollow wake of a love that didn't last. We're drifting through the doorway, we're slipping through the night, avoiding every ripple, avoiding every light. It's the loneliest of oceans where the us begins to end, just two passing ships at 4 a.m. You're heading for the kettle, I'm heading for the door. We're careful not to let our shadows touch upon the floor. A mourning or a sorry would be a stone we couldn't brave, so we keep our voices buried in a deep and glassy grave. I remember when our currents used to pull us to the center. Now there's a no trespassing sign on every room I enter. We're moving in the slow-mo of a wreck that's already said we had get tattered and then flattened. If I reached out my hand, would I touch a solid thing, or just a cold vibration of a bell that won't ring? There's a mile of salt and sorrow between your bed and mine, and neither one of us has the strength to throw a line. Yeah, we're just passing ships at 4 a.m., waiting for the fog to swallow us again. No signal on the water, no light upon the mast, just a heavy hollow wake of a love that didn't last. We're drifting through the doorway, we're slipping through the night, avoiding every ripple, avoiding every light. It's the loneliest of oceans where the us begins to end. Just two passing ships at 4 a.m. Out into the black, there's no turning back, just the hum of the fridge and the tide. One goes north, one goes south, with the taste of the sea in my mouth. Quiet, so quiet. Passing ships. The refrigerator hums a low and lonely tune, while the shadows stretch like fingers across the room. I've memorized the pattern of the ceiling and the cracks, looking for the exits, but there's no turning back. The streetlights bleed through the blinds in crooked lines, like a messy map of all our bad designs. And the neighbors are dreaming, unaware of the war still raging in the silence behind my bedroom door. The world stops spinning when the sun goes down, but the grief gets louder in this sleeping town. Every if only and every what if I find comes crawling through the hallways of my mind. And it's quietest at 3 a.m. That's when I start to lose your ghost again. There's no traffic on the road, no wind in the trees, just the sound of a heart falling to its knees. The volume of the void is enough to make me scream, but I'm trapped in the static of a broken dream. The ghosts come out to play, and the shadows come to see how quiet 3 a.m. can really be. Your side of the mattress is a cold, flat plane. I'm reaching for a hand, but I'm catching the rain. I try to play a podcast just to hear a human voice, but the silence is a habit, no longer a choice. I remember how we'd whisper so the world wouldn't hear. Now I give anything for a good night, dear, but the air is too thin and the night is too long for a heart that's forgotten the words to the song. At 1 a.m. I'm angry, throwing things around. At 2 a.m. I'm shaking, staring at the ground. But when the clock hits the 3, the fire burns out, and I'm left with the cold and the hollow of doubt. Yeah, it's quietest at 3 a.m. That's when I start to lose your ghost again. There's no traffic on the road, no wind in the trees, just the sound of a heart falling to its knees. The volume of the void is enough to make me scream, but I'm trapped in the static of a broken dream. The ghosts come out to play, and the shadows come to see how quiet 3 a.m. can really be. The blue light of the phone, the coldness of the stone. I've never felt so perfectly alone. Tick, 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 wait for the sun, but the night has only just begun. It's quiet, so quiet at 3 a.m. I went to see the doctor for the pressure in my chest. He said the lungs are fine, I just need a little rest. But he couldn't see the shadow, or the way the colors fade, or the hollow in my stomach where the memories were laid. I'm shaking in the morning, I'm restless in the night, a chemical imbalance since you took away the light. It's a long and slow reaction, a poison in the bone, the price of every always that I'm paying on my own. There's no warning on the bottle, no fine print on the page about how love can turn into a cold and silver cage. Now I'm reading through the symptoms, checking off the list of the things I never thought I'd feel just because we don't exist. And these are the side effects of loving you, the constant ache of gray where I used to see the blue. It's the loss of appetite, the losing of my sleep, the secrets in the silence that I'm forced to keep. It's the tremors in my hands and the static in my brain, a permanent addiction to a beautiful kind of pain. They said that love was healing, but that was just a lie. These are the side effects of watching us die. I've got a short-term memory of the way you used to look before we hit the final bitter chapter of the book. I'm hypersensitive to the sound of every door, expecting you to walk across the kitchen wood once more. It's a chronic kind of lonely, a dull and steady throng that makes me wonder if the better part is ever gonna come. I'm allergic to the sunlight, I'm a victim of the dark, living in the wreckage of a disappearing spark. Dizziness and nausea, a heavy sinking heart, a total loss of vision since we fell apart. There is no antidote, there is no magic pill to stop the way the ghost of you makes the world still. tears, the tremors in my hands, and the static in my brain. A permanent addiction to a beautiful kind of pain. They said that love was healing, but that was just a lie. These are the side effects of watching us die. Console your memory before you fall. The warning signs are written on the wall. May cause heartbreak, may cause tears, may last for 1,000 lonely years. Side effects, just the side effects of you. I left the heater running since you walked away, but the frost is climbing up the glass in shades of gray. The coffee's freezing over in the porcelain cup, and I'm shivering so hard I can't pick it up. You took the summer with you in a cardboard box, left me here with rusted keys and frozen locks. They say that time can heal a wounded soul, but time just feels like digging in a snow-filled hole. I'm numb to the touch, I'm blue at the core. I don't even feel the wind in my door, because I've got a soul on ice, suspended in the dark, waiting for a memory to find a little spark. But the fire's gone out and the wood is all damp, like a guttering flame in a broken lamp. I'm preserved in the moment you said we were through, a statue of soul still looking for you. Yeah, it's cold and it's quiet and it isn't very nice, living with a soul on ice. I see your picture and I try to feel the sting, but the ice has settled over everything. It's a mercy, I guess, to not feel the burn, to stop the gears of the heart and the way to turn. But I'm a ghost in a glacier, trapped in the white, just an echo of a man in the middle of the night. Break me open, let me bleed, let me feel the heat, even if it's agony, even in defeat. And anything is better than this crystal cage where I'm stuck on the same cold, bitter a soul on ice, suspended in the dark, waiting for a memory to find a little spark. But the fire's gone out and the wood is all damp, like a gutter in flame in a broken lamp. I'm preserved in the moment you said we were through. A statue of salt still looking for you. Yeah, it's cold and it's quiet and it isn't very nice, living with a soul on ice. Don't let me thaw, it'll hurt too much. I've forgotten the feeling of a human touch. Just leave me here in the deep freeze, down on my knees, soul on ice, soul on ice. Soul on ice. I close my eyes in the hallway light, but I can still see the shape of you standing there, a burning outline against the white, like a ghost in the static, haunting the air. You've been gone for a week, maybe 10, but the back of my eyelids won't let the story end. I'm staring at the spot where we had our last fight, and the neon of the memory is blindingly bright. It's the trick of the vision, the sting in the eye when you look at the sun and it says it's goodbye. The light is long gone, but the burn stays behind, etched in the velvet dark of my mind. And it's the after image of us, the after image of you, a shimmery fire. after image of us. I'm staring at the bottom of a glass that's run dry, tracing the ghosts of the clouds in a charcoal sky. We didn't go out with a bang or a cinematic flare. We just evaporated like the smoke into the winter air. The garden is choked with the weeds and the gray, and I'm tired of finding new ways to get through the day. I used to think love was a shield or a spark, but now it's just a match that left me blinded in the dark. There's no honey left in the jar on the shelf. I'm just a hollowed out version of my former self. We've chewed on the promises until they turn to stone, and I'm learning the way of being truly alone. And oh, it's the bitter end, the taste of the soul, trying to figure out whose ghost is at fault. It's the dregs of the coffee, the cold at the door, the realization that I don't know you anymore. It's not a tragedy of roses, it's a tragedy of rust, watching every forever turn back into dust. No more sweetheart, and no more friend, just the jagged hollow reaching of the bitter end. I walk past the park where we carved out our names, but the bark has grown over and hidden the flames. The bench is just wood and the grass is just green, and I'm just a man standing somewhere in between. I'm swallowing the sorry that I waited too long to say. It's a bitter pill to take as I watch you drive away. The medicine's gone and the wound is wide open, and I'm finally realizing the heart stays broken. If I could pour it all out, if I could empty the cup, I wouldn't have to worry about picking it up. But the flavor of us is a permanent stain, a slow release poison running through every vein. Tragedy of roses, it's a tragedy of rust, watching every forever turn back into dust. No more sweetheart, no more friend, just the jagged hollow reaching of the bitter end. Turn the sign to closed, let the winner be exposed. The sweetness is gone, nothing left to drink, nowhere left to sink in the gray of the dawn. The bitter end, the long, slow, bitter end. The music slows down until it's just a single low, muffled heartbeat on the strength for both of us at once. But the fibers are fraying, they're snapping in the wind. And I'm looking at the place where the always has to end. My palms are blistered and my arms are turning numb, waiting for a rescue that we both know won't come. I thought if I just held on tighter, I could change your mind. But I'm just being dragged by the ghost I left behind. There's a jagged kind of hollow in the middle of my chest as I realize the fighting was just delaying the rest. I'm looking down at the canyon, at the shadows far below, and I'm running out of reasons not to just let go. And I'm at the end of the road, the end of the line, watching the last of the yours drift away from the mine. It's a long way to fall, but I'm too tired to climb. I've been hanging on a promise for a long and lonely time. Friction is burning, the sky is turning gray, and there's nothing left to do, and there's nothing left to say. I'm losing my grip, I'm losing my hope. I finally reached the end of the road. The silence is a weight that's pulling at my feet, as the gravity of over makes the tragedy complete. I used to think that letting go was a sign of being weak, but now it's just the only kind of mercy I can see. I'm tired of the tension, I'm tired of the burn, of waiting for a love that's never gonna return. I'm opening my fingers, I'm breathing in the cold, releasing all the stories that we never will unfold. It's not the fall that scares me, it's the staying in the air, suspended by a memory that isn't even there. One more second, one more slip, I'm losing my mind, I'm losing my grip. I can't do it anymore. 3, 2, I'm letting go of you. 1, and now I'm gone, falling, falling into the dawn. I'm sitting in the kitchen with the receiver in my hand, a relic of a connection I no longer understand. I watched your name scroll by like a ghost upon the screen, and I pressed the button just to see you'd be me. But there was no hello, and there was no who is this, just the U-turn crave of a life I'm gonna miss. I waited through the ringing, counting hard notes in the hall until the line went flat and I hit the bottom of the fall. I used to hear you breathing on the other side of the wire, a low and steady rhythm that could settle on any fire. But the circuit's been broken, the copper's turned to gray, and the satellite is looking for a soul that moved away. And it's the finality of a dial tone, a long and steady hum, the cold electric signal that the end has finally come. No more are you there, or darling please come home. Just the frequency of static in a house made of chrome. It's a flatline in my ear, it's a zero on the scale, the sound of a machine when the human parts all fail. I'm standing here connected to a world where I'm alone with the finality of a dial tone. Such a crime back when we had nothing but a surplus of our time. Now I'd give anything for a click or a call, for any sign of life before you cut the signal off. It's a high and lonesome whistle, a digital goodbye. I'm mechanical, I'm over it. Beneath the plastic sky, I'm still holding to the side of my face, like a hollowed out seashell in an empty echoing space. Disconnected cables pull the wires from the wall. I'm tired of the silence following the call. It's a binary tragedy, a one and then a zero, a story with a signal but no longer any hero. Frequency of static in a house made of chrome. It's a flatline in my ear, it's a zero on the scale, the sound of a machine when the human parts all fail. I'm standing here connected to a world where I'm alone with the finality of a dial tone. To the static of the middle of the night, just a dial tone, just a tone, just a tone. I'm driving toward the edge of the world we used to know, watching the rearview mirror, watching the memories go. The road is a ribbon of black stretching into the gray. used to see the gold, I used to see the light, but the colors are bleeding into the coming of the night. And the line where the earth meets the sky is starting to blur, like the ghost of the man I was before I lost her. There's no map for this kind of empty, no compass for the cold, just a handful of air where I used to have your hold. I'm chasing a sun that already went down, in the silence of a heart that's starting to drown. Path back to the shore. I'm reaching for the hem of a disappearing day, watching the last of our forever slip away. It's not a clean break, it's a slow, steady shading, and the horizon is fading. The radio is static, just a hum and a hiss, like the echo of the words in our very last kiss. I try to focus on the landmarks, the trees and the signs, but they're melting together in crooked dark lines. The further I go, the more I realize that the world is just a mirror of the look in your eyes. When you told me it was over, when the light went out and left me in the shadow of a permanent doubt. If I could turn the car around, if I could stop the spin, I'd find the exact second where the end began. But the sky is getting heavy, and the ground is getting thin, and I'm losing the battle I'm still living in. Slip away. It's not a clean break, it's a slow, steady shading, and the horizon is fading. It's all turning black, there's no going back, just a hum of the tires on the road. The lights getting low, nowhere left to go, just the weight of the heavy, dark load fading. It's all just fading to the dark. I'm stuck in the doorway of a house that isn't ours anymore, watching the way the evening sun spills across the floor. I've got my keys in my pocket, like a weight I have to bear, while the silence settles heavy in the space you used to share. You didn't say a word and I didn't ask you why. We were both just waiting for the light to leave the sky. I wanted to memorize the curve of your face before I became a stranger in this empty, hollow space. The clock on the mantle was the only sound we made as we watched the colors of our always start to fade. I knew if I turned around I'd never leave the room, so I stood there in the shadow of the slow approaching gloom. And the last time I saw your eyes, they weren't blue or green. They were just the deepest hollow that I've ever seen. No fire in the iris, no spark inside the dark, just the cold gray ashes of a dying, desperate spark. I looked for a reason, I looked for a plea, but there was nothing left behind them looking back at me. It was the end of the world, it was the end of the prize. The last time I saw your eyes. You used to look at me like I was the only thing that shone. Now I'm just a ghost made of shadow and of bone. The windows of your soul had the shutters pulled down tight, blocking out the memory of our summer heavy light. I reached for a flicker, just a tremor or a tear, but the ice had settled in for a long and lonely year. It's a different kind of heartbreak when the person that you know is already a ghost before they even let you go. I'll spend a lifetime trying to unsee that look, like the final empty sentence at the end of a book, a vacant silver mirror where the us used to be, a total quiet blindness to the history of me. Yeah, the last time I saw your eyes, they weren't blue or green. They were just the deepest hollow that I've ever seen. No fire in the iris, no spark inside the dark, just the cold gray ashes of a dying, desperate spark. I look for a reason, I look for a plea, but there was nothing left behind them looking back at me. It was the end of the world, it was the end of the prize. The last time I saw your eyes. Turn away, just walk away into the charcoal gray. I'm losing the color, I'm losing the light, surrendering the morning to a permanent night. Just the hollow, just the space in the middle of your face. The last time, the very last time. I saw your eyes. We built this castle on a canyon ledge, careless footsteps dancing on the edge. We swore the view was worth the thinness of the air, but the gravity was waiting, and it didn't seem fair. I felt your fingers slip away from mine, a slow motion breaking a straight dark line. Now the clouds are rising up to meet my face in this cold, unyielding, lonely space. They say the fall is what kills you in the end, but they don't mention the time you have to spend counting every mistake, every word, every frown on the way down. And it's a long way down from the love we had, watching the good turn into the bad. The wind is screaming everything we didn't say as the ground gets closer every single day. It's not the crash that's breaking my heart, it's the miles and the minutes we're drifting apart. Yet falling is easy, it's the air that's profound. And it's a long, long way down. I can see our ghosts still standing at the top. They look so happy, like the world would never stop. Before the silence grew louder than the song, before we realized where we both went wrong. Reaching out for branches that I'll never reach, learning the lessons that only shadows can teach. Your face is a pin light in a charcoal sky, too far to touch, too far to hear me cry. If I could catch a breeze, if I could learn to fly, I'd soar back up to that July sky. But there's no friction in a heart that's let go, just the acceleration of a grief I now know. And it's a long way down from the love we had, watching the good turn into the bad. The wind is screaming everything we didn't say as the ground gets closer every single day. It's not the crash that's breaking my heart, it's the miles and the minutes we're drifting apart. Yeah, falling is easy, it's the air that's profound. And it's a long, long way down. Just a little more time in the empty blue. I'm still falling, I'm still losing you. The long way down. The wind fades out. The way down. Fades out. The neighbor's dog is barking 3 houses down the street. I can hear the rhythm of my own pulse, a slow and heavy beat. I never noticed that the fridge had such a hollow, constant hum, or how the air gets thick and cold when you finally become numb. I used to crave the quiet when the world was far too loud, back when we were happy, back when we were proud. But now the walls are leaning in, whispering your name, and the stillness in this hallway is a different kind of shame. I'm screaming at the rafters till my throat is raw and red, but the sound just dies a foot away from the pillows on the the bed. There's a vacuum in the kitchen, there's a canyon in the hall, and the nothingness is heavier than any wrecking ball. Oh, the silence is deafening, it's ringing in my ears. The loudest thing I've ever heard in all these lonely years is the crash of every promise that we didn't get to keep. It's the thunder of the secrets that you buried way too deep. I'm covering my eyes, but I'm covering my ears too, trying to escape the sound of life without you. It's a roar, it's a roar, it's a violent, steady thing. The silence is deafening, and it's all I have to sing. I dropped a silver teaspoon on the tile an hour ago, and it sounded like a gunshot, like a final fatal blow. I'm afraid to move a muscle, afraid to take a breath, because the quiet is a shadow of a slow and steady death. Your keys are on the counter, but they don't jingle anymore. They're just sitting there like tombstones by the handle of the door. I try to play a record, but the needle just won't find the groove. It's like the universe is waiting for one of us to move. If the wind would only whistle, if the rain would only fall, if a ghost would only rattle all the frames upon the wall. Anything to break the spell, anything to stop the ring of the hollow, heavy anthem that the empty spaces bring. Listen, can you hear the always fading out? Listen, can you hear the dying of the doubt? Is so loud, God is so loud. Just the static in the room, just the color of the gloom, the silence, the deafening silence. It wasn't a cliff or a sudden descent. It was the steady erosion of every cent of the kindness we traded, the coins in the jar. Now I'm just wondering where the hell we are. I watch the horizon for a ship to appear, but the fog only thickened with every year. I kept the lamp burning till the oil ran dry, waiting for a hello and a goodbye sky. It's the quietest murder you'll ever see, the way that you're slowly forgetting me. It's not a gunshot, it's not a blade, just the light getting dimmer till we're lost in the shade. And it's the slow death of hope, the long cold fade, the dead of the heart realizes it's standing so still. No more someday, no more will go. Just a slow, steady death of hope. I'm still checking the mail for a letter you'll never write. I'm still leaving the porch light on in the middle of the night. But the wood's getting rotten, the paint's starting to peel, and I'm losing the memory of how it used to feel. We're a clock that's unwinding, a star going out, a ghost of a certainty swallowed by doubt. I'm grieving for the person I thought you could be, and the version of us that's now ancient history. If it happened all at once, I could scream, I could cry, but it's 1,000 small not days passing me by. It's the starving of the spirit, the thirst in the soul, watching the pieces lose sight of the whole. Yeah, it's the slow death of hope, the long cold fade, the dead of the promise that'll never be paid. It's watching the garden turn back into weeds while I'm clutching a handful of dead, dried up seeds. It's a flicker, a shiver, then a final deep chill as the heart realizes it's standing so still. No more someday, no more will go. Just a slow, steady death of hope. The last candle smoking, the window is broken, the very last word has been spoken.